All right, you are now ready for step 6, which is to write a rough draft of your profile. You are going to do your best to make it informative, interesting, organized, and well written. This is going to be a separate assignment in Schoology. So what that means, when you open your Schoology page, this is what you've been working for, the profile assignment steps for working. There should be something new that you can see, profile assignment template. That's what you're going to click on to get to this assignment, and it's basically a template for you to type your paper on. And it's going to look like this, yours is. And you're going to include a photo here of the person. The person's name is going to go here, by, and then down below you're just going to type. This is already set to the criteria on the scoring guide, so as long as you don't change the font, then you are going to be good to go on that section. Which reminds me, this would be a really good time to look at the scoring guide. So let's just take a really quick peek at that. A good student will look at that scoring guide at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the assignment. You're going to be graded on your organization. So you want a strong introduction, strong body that's easy to follow, and a strong conclusion. Your idea has to be focused on one person. You can't pick two people. It's got to be one person. And you have to have very clear characteristics or admirable characteristics that we would all say, yep, that's something to be admired. Then you have to have really good details that support those characteristics. So if you say the person is kind, you have to give specific examples showing what does that person do or say that show kindness. And you have to do that for both characteristics. Your language has to be good and precise and interesting, and the style has to be appropriate for your audience and is consistent. So it's going to be a formal paper, something that other 7th graders will be able to read and understand. And then conventions is the capitalization, grammar, usage, spelling. That's by the end, so don't let that bog you down. You know, use your spell check, but you're going to have editors later. And then the formatting is going to be right here. And so I think that's what I was talking to you about. The template's already going to be set up for you for that. So I've actually already written my draft. So I'm going to show it to you. I chose to write about Jan. And if you remember, I did my big brainstorming, and then I did more specific brainstorming. And when I started looking at all of the ideas I came up with, I just didn't think I was going to be able to put all of them in there. So I decided to pick the best ones. So I figured the thing that is the best to show Jan is optimistic is probably, and I could use some humor in there, when the dog pooped all over the carpet and she just, laughed it off and cleaned it up. And then the best example of her giving of herself and her time was when she invited my mom to come live with her last 6 months of her life. And so I just chose those. I didn't choose all of them. So when I wrote in my profile, I had, and you don't have to write first draft, this is just a label so you know, you put her name up here, or his, there's your name, and then you're going to put a picture in there. So you need to start working on getting a picture of this person. That one common thing I get, which is not necessarily related to the writing, is when people put their pictures in, it messes up the formatting so bad. And if you right click, it is going to give you an option. Normally when you first put a picture in, it is left aligned and moves all the writing around. When you right click and you click right on this little one, it says wrap text. That's the one that you want that will put it on this side. It looks like even when I did that, it messed it up just a little bit, but that lets you move it around. So I started by saying, here's the good news, is something I often hear my sister Jan Andrade say, no matter how bad the situation is. Jan is someone who has taken a lot of hits in her life. She seems to attract chaos at times, but even so, she never stops smiling and loving others. That is why I admire her. First of all, Jan, and so this is my introduction, and I tried to use a quote. And then, first of all, Jan is one of the most optimistic people I know. So the very first sentence, I wrote the characteristic that I want to highlight in the first sentence. I want to talk about her being optimistic. So when I say highlight it, I don't mean actually highlighting it. I mean, I want to explain it. First of all, Jan is one of the most optimistic people I know. And I used a transition there as well. It's easy to be optimistic when things aren't going your way, but she is that way even if things don't. One time, she was dog sitting my niece's puppy, and I noticed it circling the corner. Everyone knows that means it's about to do its business, so I grabbed him and ran to the door. Unfortunately, the puppy had diarrhea all over the carpet. I was horrified. Jan bent over laughing as she went to get the cleaning supplies. And that is a small problem. When things get really tough, she was always there for those she loves. Here's my next paragraph. Jan is there for others no matter how busy she is or what she has to sacrifice. And so I put that she is there for others. And I think in my original, I put giving herself. And it's the same idea. I just changed the wording a little bit. When my mother was up in age, living in Iowa and needing assistance, Jan regularly dropped everything to take her to appointments, set up Meals on Wheels, and set up the schedule outlining which of us daughters would be there while she gained enough strength to live on her own again. When that was no longer a possibility, she invited my mother to live with her for the last 6 months of her life. Jan made changes to her home, her meals, and her schedule to make sure my mom had everything she needed, enjoyed, and made her feel safe and secure. It was one of the most selfless things I'd ever seen. And here's my conclusion. There is no one I admire more than my sister Jan. I know that's not a very good conclusion, but it's just a first draft, and I'm not going to worry about it too much because I'm going to have peers and another person edit it, and I have time to make it better. This is just you getting your first draft down. All right, good luck. I hope you have a good writing experience.